Off the top here at 11 with breaking news. A Mishawaka police officer hurt and being taken to the hospital right now after an officer-involved crash. Police on the scene near Grape and McKinley had traffic diverted for a time as accident investigators worked the scene. You can see here on the screen the side of the cruiser with damage and the hood of the other car involved also with damage. We are working to find what caused this crash and the extent of the officer's injuries. Stay with WSBT 22 on air and online as we work to learn more about this developing story about this officer hurt.
She didn't shoot him. Well, he would have kept going. He was on the rampage. He was on the rampage. And then she walked over and was giving him CPR. So, and it had a nice big blade on him. So she chucked the knife away.
Good morning. We're following breaking news this morning out of Australia. A man who stabbed and killed 6 people, including a child, in a Sydney mall has now been shot dead by police. 5 of those victims died at the scene and another died after being taken to the hospital for their injuries. Police say when the officer confronted the suspect, he raised a knife to her, prompting her to shoot. Several other people are injured and were taken to the hospital in critical condition. There's no word yet on what led up to that stabbing. Stay with us right here as we continue to bring you updates on air and online at WSBT.com.
An update right away at midday on a serious overnight crash. We now know 5 people were taken to the hospital. It happened on the toll road east of the Notre Dame exit just after 8 p.m. You can see that on the map here where it happened, the crash scene. The toll road was shut down for more than an hour. Now look at this picture shared by state police. You can see some of the damage. Police say an SUV was slowing down at the exit when it was rear-ended by a box truck. The collision pushed the SUV into the guardrail, spinning onto the other side of the road. A woman was thrown from the SUV. She was taken to the hospital for serious but not life-threatening injuries. The other 4 people in the SUV had minor injuries. The truck driver was not injured. Police do not believe drugs or alcohol were factors in this crash.
And one person is behind bars after rear-ending a police officer last night during a traffic stop. It happened around midnight near the intersection of Cleveland and Kinglet in Roseland. Police say the officer had pulled over a driver for a traffic stop. While he was still in his vehicle, another vehicle rear-ended the squad car, pushing it into the car that the officer had originally stopped. Police say the driver who rear-ended the officer was intoxicated. The officer was later taken to the hospital for injuries. He has since been released, and the St. Joseph County Police are handling that case. Some university graduations scheduled this weekend aren't happening, with schools citing safety concerns as pro-Palestinian protests continue on campuses across the U.S.
I'm grateful to have the degree, but of course it would have been nice to have that celebration.
And several schools are now holding commencement ceremonies off campus or even canceled them altogether. Police have dismantled pro-Palestinian encampments at MIT and the University of Pennsylvania. Dozens of students have been arrested. And meanwhile, Harvard University has begun placing students protesting on involuntary leaves of absence.
President Biden is back on the campaign trail in Georgia this weekend. Later today, the president will deliver the commencement address at Morehouse College in the face of potential protests. President Biden has been under fire for his handling of the war in Gaza, and pro-Palestinian protests continue on college campuses across the country, including Morehouse. The school's president warns he'll halt today's graduation ceremonies if demonstrations erupt. He says he would rather end the ceremony early than call in police on students.
This is an opportunity for Biden to come out, talk about what he's done for the black community, as well as address young people and voters of color's disdain for the actions of Israel in Gaza.
President Biden is hoping to gain support among African-American voters who were crucial to his 2020 victory. He'll return to the state next month, squaring off against Donald Trump in their first debate.
Former President Donald Trump back on the campaign trail this weekend during a recess in his hush money trial. While at a Republican fundraiser in Minnesota last night, Trump bashed President Biden and his handling of the economy. Trump predicts he's going to win Minnesota this year after losing it in 2016 and then again in 2020.
That's why this November, the people of Minnesota are going to tell crooked Joe Biden, right, the apprentice, you're fired, get out of here, get out, you did a lousy job. Worst president in history. You did a terrible job, crooked Joe.
No Republican presidential candidates won Minnesota since 1971 and Richard Nixon. The state's Republican Party says there's a lot of dissatisfaction with President Biden's handling of the war in Gaza. Minnesota, especially the Minneapolis area, has a strong Somali and Muslim population.
Right now at midday, a lot to get to on this Monday. We are following the latest developments on another mass shooting in Indianapolis. And we have live coverage of today's Dingus Day celebrations in South Bend. But first, we want to start with our weather, a dreary and wet start to our April. Jessica Burns is here. And Jessica, any more rain today?
All right, Jessica, thanks very much. Some of the officials out of Texas are warning of a slow cleanup process after powerful storms swept through, killing at least 4 people. The Houston area has been dealing with a string of severe weather. Look at some of this weather just ripping through there. They've been having flooding for essentially a month. 2 of the deaths Thursday were caused by falling trees. Falling construction crane killed a 3rd person. Torrential rainfall, as you can see here, and hurricane-force winds, leaving behind more flooding, building damage across the city, and nearly 1 million people without power. Some areas may not get their electricity back for weeks.
The Penn Harris Madison Planetarium taking on a new name today. It is now the Arthur M. Klinger Planetarium. Arthur Klinger retired back in 2015 after 45 years with PHM. He began his career at Schmucker Middle School in 1970 as a science teacher. When the planetarium opened back in 1980, he became its first director, a position that he held for 35 years. Klinger says he's proud to be a part of helping students explore the sciences.
It's been very helpful. Any event going on in the sky, we've been able to explain it or show it. And to do that and to stimulate kids to maybe go into engineering or careers in science or astrophysics, things like that, have taken place.
This is the 4th donation made by the superintendent of PHM, helping to recognize the work that school employees have made to the community.
This sports segment on WSBT 22 is sponsored by Beacon Health System. Now, sports with Pete Byrne.
It's a beautiful evening for baseball in South Bend. Good evening, everyone. Sports coming to you live. As one season comes to a close, another is set to begin as it's opening night here at Four Winds Field for the South Bend Cubs. Again, guys, we're going to have all the highlights and festivities. Hopefully, see the W flag back here tonight at 11.
All right, Pete, we'll check in with you at 10 and 11 to see how it plays out. Thank you. Back in a moment.
And we're taking a live look in Indianapolis right behind me, where the Indiana Pacers will take on the Boston Celtics for Game 3 of the NBA Eastern Conference Finals tonight. The Pacers are hoping to keep up their home court winning streak despite being down 2-0 in another best-of-7 series. But the stakes are high as star point guard Tyrese Halliburton injured his hamstring during Game 2. The team listed him as questionable for tonight's contest. Meanwhile, the top-seeded Celtics are a perfect 4-0 on the road this postseason. Tip-off is set for 8:30 tonight. You can watch that game on ESPN.
Happening later today, the Michiana Walleye Association will be hosting its annual fishing derby. The event is 10 till 3 today at the Day Road location in Mishawaka. Kids ages 4 to 12 can participate. They have to be accompanied by an adult, however, but everything's free. Free bait, free lunches, rods and reels all provided. Reservations are required. To sign up, you can visit this story on our website at WSBT.com.
All right, out of the gate here at 6 with Eclipse excitement. It was a sky high across Indiana for the once-in-a-lifetime event. Now, Indiana has not experienced a total solar eclipse since 1869. We have live team coverage of the special event today. We're tracking how traffic is being impacted right now as thousands of people make their way home from central Indiana, which was in the path of totality. We begin here tonight at 6 with Storm Alert meteorologist Lynette Grant.
Yeah, she has been in the path of totality all day outside of Noblesville. Lynette, when did those crowds really start to arrive?
We arrived here at Strawtown Kotewee Park, which is outside of Noblesville.
Watch for more traffic this weekend around town. It's, of course, graduation weekend for Notre Dame, St. Mary's College, and Holy Cross. Now, this is a live look at Innovation Park. You can see the stadium here. Well, the big commencement is going to happen tomorrow. Of course, the Golden Dome in the background. St. Mary's is up first, holding its outdoor commencement ceremony today at noon at Lamons Green. Pardon me, Holy Cross will have its at 2 p.m. this afternoon. Then the big Notre Dame commencement is tomorrow morning, as we mentioned, at the stadium. Starts at 9:30 in the morning. For the Notre Dame commencement, you will need an e-ticket to get into the stadium. All Notre Dame ceremonies, including the commencement mass, will be live streamed. This weekend is a huge economic driver for the area's hotels and restaurants. We'll look at that next half hour.
And we are just hours away from the 118th anniversary of the Blossom Time Grand Floral Parade. Behind me, you're taking a live look in St. Joseph, where that parade will start at 1 o'clock today. More than 100 floats, bands, and organizations expected to take part in this year's parade. Here's a look at that parade route from St. Joseph into Benton Harbor. Road detours will begin at 10 a.m. this morning and could continue until the parade ends. For a full list of parking restrictions, make sure to visit WSBT.com.
Finally, at 11, April showers bring May flowers and full moons. Starting tonight, the flower moon will be visible in the night sky. It is the final full moon of spring. The flower moon will appear full for about 3 days, hitting its official peak on Thursday morning. The next full moon this year will be on June 21st. That is known as the strawberry moon. And James, anybody that wants to check out the moon tonight, they should be able to see it. We have pretty clear skies.
Yeah, for the time being, but you should be able to see a better look at that full moon Thursday morning, because Wednesday night into Thursday morning, that's when I do expect mostly clear skies as well.
In the news here at 6 o'clock, hot and humid weather out there right now, and we are also tracking your chances for storms overnight. You can see behind us, this system has already created a flood of concern in Nebraska. More than 6 inches of rain falling just this morning.
Yeah, and you can see here a live look at our storm tracker radar. You can see those storms are west and they're moving into our area. Meteorologist James Parrish is here. James, when can we expect the rain to get here?